Hi, this is Dr. Kimberley Linert, and you're listening to Incredible Life Creator Podcast. My guest today is Carol Kabaale. Carol Kabaale is your expert in all things lead generation, and she is a bit obsessed with Facebook ads in particular. With a little bit of ambition and a lot of hard work, Carol built her business and left her fancy corporate job behind. Today, she helps service based businesses turn clicks into clients through lead generation without breaking the bank. On most days, she is a business owner, wife, and fur mom to her Boston Terrier, Charlie. He's such a good boy, and everything else in between. Fun fact, pizza is everything. In fact, carbs are everything. Carol would love to connect, chat about how she can add value to your business. Well, welcome to the podcast, Carol.
Thank you so much for having me, Kimberly. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here finally. Yes.
Yes, it's so fun to
So,
actually
so
see you
good.
again. Yes, because I connect with you
I
somehow
know.
talking about how to get more clients, and you sure do know how to get more clients. But before we get into that, why don't
Yes,
you
yes, I
kind of
do.
introduce yourself and tell people like how you started out because you didn't start out doing what you're doing now.
Yeah. No, I didn't. So, thank you again so much for having me on the show. I really, really appreciate the opportunity to just share a little bit of my story. And if I can help anyone in any way, that would be just the cherry on top. But I just love being here and spending some time with you. I have to say that first and foremost.
Thank you.
So, how I started, I was born in Cuba, which is a tiny island in the Caribbean. And then my parents took me to South Africa when I was very small, hence why I have this lovely British accent. So I have grown up here my entire life in South Africa. It has been really, really amazing. I did your typical things. I went to school, I went to university, and I actually always had a passion to serve people. That was my big calling. I knew I needed to serve people, I just didn't know how. I also had a bit of a dilemma because I like bougie things, I like expensive things, and I like experiences. And I'm just going to say it because it's true. I really did like things, but I also wanted to serve people. So it was a bit of a juxtaposition for me because I was like, how do I serve people? But I also like have all these wonderful experiences and I get to travel the world. How do I make that happen? And at first, I couldn't quite crack the code on what it is that I wanted to do. But eventually, I stumbled across this idea of studying business and, in particular, studying hospitality management. So off I went to university and I got my degree in BCom and I specialized in hospitality management. And that actually mirrored both my favorite worlds, which meant I got to travel and be in five-star resorts and hotels and also serve people because I got to help the guest have the best kind of experience that they wanted. So that was a dream come true. When I finally joined the corporate space, like I mentioned, I worked within hospitality and I started in business development. And that was truly my passion. To be quite honest, if we're quite honest, I had no idea what it even was when I started because I started out as an intern and it was supposed to be a 6-month internship. And after the first month, they were like, you know what, you're brilliant. We're hiring you full time. So my work truly became something that just like I got absorbed into and something that like really fascinated me. I made work the center of my universe, if you will. And I was so, so happy to be part of that organization. I got to travel very quickly. I moved up within my department. And I had, like you mentioned, a very comfortable corporate job where within the first year of working there, I actually got a fully paid trip to go to Dubai and study there for like a whole week. And that was incredible. I mean, I was so young and I was just like living my best life. So that was just fantastic. Now, while all of that is happening, we have to take a little bit of a step back and go to the point that when I was 15, I met the love of my life. I didn't know it back then, but I met the love of my life. Who knew? And that's when I met my now husband, Joel. I was 15, he was 18. We're those high school sweethearts kind of thing. And we'd always been dating throughout. So, throughout everything that's happening in my career, Joel was always there for me. He was so consistent and very supporting. And then one day, Mr. Sneaky Pants knew that I had an international trip coming up. And he was like, oh, come, I want to give you a pamper day. I want to spoil you. And I was like, okay, let's do this. Why not? And off we went to the spa together, and I got my hair done and my nails done. It was so great. I mean, any woman hearing the story now is probably like, he's going to propose. But I promise you, I didn't know. I promise you, I didn't know. I was very taken aback. I was like, okay, let's go do it. So that's what we went and did. And we spent the whole day there. In the evening, we had a dinner reservation. Again, I'm still so clueless that this is going to happen. I'm just like there. And off he went, and he proposed. And in that moment, I truly say this, like, I felt like my life took the biggest pause. It was like I left my body when he asked me that question. And I was like, holy poop emoji, what happens now? Because I was so absorbed in my corporate career and moving up that corporate ladder as fast as I could. And I was working 10-hour days sometimes, even 15-hour days sometimes. And it was exhausting and draining, but it was also so fulfilling because I was moving up that ladder so quickly. So when it happened that he proposed to me, it actually, like I said, it felt like an out of body experience, because this is also something I wanted. I wanted a family. I wanted to have a life with him. And it was like, okay, well, what do I do now? And in that moment, I kind of made the decision that corporate was no longer the place that I needed to be at, and that I needed to somehow create my own path and journey. And that's when I decided, in that moment, actually, as he proposed, that I would leave my corporate job. I just knew it. I just knew that that was not going to be possible anymore. That was not going to work out. There was something else that I still needed to serve, help people grow, and have the lifestyle that I wanted, but it couldn't be with a job that, one, I was working Monday to Friday, 10, 15-hour days sometimes. And if anyone has ever worked in hospitality, you know that there's really no days off, because guests are there to have a good time on Christmas, on Easter, on special occasion, public holidays. And I just couldn't picture my life around that, you know? So that's truly when I decided I wanted to start my own business, or I wanted to start my own venture. I just didn't know what just yet. I started thinking within myself what I truly enjoyed the most about my corporate job. And again, the same principles or pillars came to play. I love to serve people. I love to help them. I love puzzles and finding ways to like get creative within them. And I knew that my next opportunity needed to have those components. And I stumbled across first the world of social media management, which is also something that we were doing in business development, but for the brand. And then I stumbled again upon Facebook ads. And that was lovely, because if anybody has ever even thought about Facebook ads, you know that the algorithm is constantly changing. It's very challenging, and it's very like interactive. So that's where the puzzle piece for me was there. It's also you have to be very analytical, because you have to forecast, you have to budget, you have to check all different pain points. So it really is an exciting part of business. But I was still missing that service element. And that's when I think I got into the coaching part of it, because I knew that I wasn't just solving the problem of Facebook ads or offering digital solutions. I needed to help. I ended up, without even trying to, helping my clients more. And it became more of the service that I really wanted. And then I found out that it's called coaching. I didn't know. I was just doing it without putting a label on it. I just thought, it's a human emotion. That's what you should do. You should help people. And so I became a coach, if you will. And now I am an ads and launch strategist. That is my official title, if you will. I also, part of the story that I forgot to mention, which is probably the best part of the story, I can't believe I even forgot it, is the fact that along this journey of building my wonderful digital agency on my own, I was so fortunate to meet my business partner. She is this incredible, strong woman, AO. And we started working together, and we combined both our agencies. We first built one big agency together, and then from it, we built a coaching business too. So that's kind of where I've been in a nutshell. I know that was a lot, so we can all take a break here. But yeah, that's been my journey so far. It's been wonderful, full of experiences, I will say that.
Yeah. What amazes me is the clarity that you had. Even as a young person, you were clear on what it is that you really wanted, and you actually created that and put that together. And then the fact that, you're being proposed to. And I mean, most people, when they're being proposed to, they're only thinking about one thing. And that's getting married. And you're being proposed to, having this out of body experience, making a major life decision. How do you keep
Yeah.
that clarity? How do you think you develop that clarity, or the things you do to help you to have clarity every day?
Well, I must say, I haven't always had this clarity, if I'm quite honest. I knew part of the picture, which is always funny. I always know that I want something, but I don't see the full picture from the beginning always. So I always knew that I wanted to be successful. I just didn't know how I would be it. I'm still, some people would look at me and say, Carol, you're so successful. And I'm like, well, I'm not as successful as I want to be yet, but I do consider myself successful. Same thing with love and relationships. I knew I wanted a husband and a family and things. I just didn't know that I was going to meet my future husband at 15. I mean, if you had told me that, I would have said you're lying. So I think, to answer your question, it starts from, what are your values and what are things that bring you joy? And even if you don't have the whole picture, if you can stay consistent with part of it and stay true to it, every day moving forward a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, you just get closer and closer to your goals. Ultimately, I did get married, which is great. I do run a successful business, which is great. And I do have a lifestyle where I'm pretty happy with myself. I always say there's always room for growth, but I'm pretty content, and that's incredible.
That is wonderful. And now there's a very important, I guess you could call him, person in your life. Charlie,
Yes.
your furball Charlie, your terrier
I
Charlie.
love him.
How did he come into the
I love him.
picture?
Oh my gosh. So Charlie is just the best. If you have never met Charlie, you are missing out on life. I'm telling you right now, I have the best dog in the world. He's a little Boston Terrier. He is full of energy. He's like, I don't know if you ever watched the Roadrunner cartoon where he would just go and he'd go beep beep. That is exactly what Charlie is like. He is a ball of energy and love. Um, I've never experienced something like something so pure. Like, he just loves you unconditionally, and it's the best in the world. Like, oh man, it's great. So how Charlie came into my life, it was actually quite an interesting story, if I do say so myself. I wanted a puppy for a very long time, and we had been married for about a year and a half, and I wanted this puppy, and I didn't know what I wanted. And I was like, oh, I want this puppy. I want this puppy. And my husband, he's very logical. He's actually very, very logical because he's a civil engineer. So he likes to think life out like 10 steps ahead of me. I'm still here. He's there. Like, he's figured it out already. So I was just playing with this notion. Oh, I want a puppy. Oh, I want a puppy. And one day he was like, after work, he's like, Carol, come, let's go for a car drive. And I was like, it's so weird. Why are we going to just drive around the neighborhood? But I didn't really question it. I was like, okay, let's go do it. And I often find, and I take this with everything in life, say yes to things. Don't question things sometimes. Sometimes they want to be really logical and want to be like, why do you want to go for a car ride at 6 p.m? No, don't question it. Sometimes just go. Just
Go.
be spontaneous. And that's what I did. Yeah, just go. So I got in the car and we're driving and we're driving and we're driving and we're driving. And I must say, we are driving past some neighborhoods that I'm like, a little bit questionable. Where are we going? And then we're in the middle of nowhere. And it looks like we're in the middle of like a farm. And I was like, what is happening here? Has this man decided he's going to turn into a murderer and kill me? Like, what is going on? There's like no buildings and this pitch darkness. I'm like, okay, fine. And eventually we get to this very tiny little house. And she's like, come outside. And I was like, well, I don't really want to. He's like, no, man, come outside. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this might be it. I was like, this might be it. This might be it. But I got inside and I just hear the yapping of tiny little puppies, like puppies. And we went there, and there's this lady who runs this amazing, she lives on a farm, and she runs this amazing rescue. And one of the dogs had a litter of Boston Terrier puppies. And Joel was like, surprise. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I couldn't even resist it. It was so amazing. When I picked them up, so there were two puppies that I was really drawn to, like energy wise. And the one was kind of fat and like bigger, and the other one was kind of small, you know. And the lady looked at me and she said, would you like a chilled puppy, or would you like a more energetic puppy? And I was like, well, I want a more chilled puppy, because, you know, back then I wasn't exercising any day or things like that. And she was like, oh, well, then you want this one. And that was like the bigger puppy. But I was like, I feel like I want to take the smaller puppy, because people tend to not like the runs of the litter, like the smaller puppies. And I was like, I just want this little guy to have a chance. So I picked him, and lo and behold, Charlie was a ball of energy, and he has not stopped since. That man can just go, 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 go. I've learned so much from him. I've learned patience. I've learned to just love unconditionally even more. I've just learned to enjoy simple moments. Like when he finds a spot in the house to just sit, and like the sun is hitting him, he just takes a moment and he stops. How often do we as people and businesswomen, do we just stop and take a moment for ourselves? Like I've really learned a lot from him, and I'm better for it. I'm very much better for it.
Wonderful. Yeah. Thanks for telling us about Charlie. So I've seen many pictures
Oh,
of
my
Charlie
pleasure.
on your Facebook page. He looks like fun.
He's so cute.
So here's
He
another really
is.
big, wonderful topic. You know, you talked about wanting to have experiences in your life. So let's
Mhm.
just talk about food.
Oh,
Talk about food. So me and my friend, we love to find all different kinds of restaurants, like a Mediterranean restaurant and a
mm,
Chinese restaurant and a
mm.
Indonesian restaurant. Any kind of restaurant we can find that's different, we're going and we're
Yes,
trying the food. Or we just love this. It's just like he calls it food porn. You know, he's like, I'm just trying all these foods.
I love that.
So wonderful. You know, and I, read in your bio about the pizza and the carbs, but I know that you like to travel about and find wonderful places and food. So why don't you talk about that piece of your life?
Oh my gosh, I love that. First of all, food porn is everything. I love this. I might just have to add this to my vocab. I love it. My husband and I are, we're not foodies. I wouldn't say we're foodies, but we do love to travel to the best places and get like the iconic dish of that place, you know? So when we were in Italy, we had to eat pasta and pizza every day. I mean, it had to happen. I mean, we're in Italy. What else are you gonna eat? I mean, and we were so fortunate, we got to go to Paris and we ate croissants every day, and we ate them the wrong way. Yes, we ate them with cheese inside and savory things. I'm so sorry, French people, but I had to do it. It was so good. Um, but basically, we like to call those trips foodcation, because it's a vacation where we literally base them around food. And I still have this dream, you know, COVID kind of got into my plans, but it's fine. I wanted to do it this year, but there's probably next year or the year off. That's okay. Where we wanted to plan this trip and travel through America, because both of us have never been. And we wanted to go and get a little RV and live that van life and travel through the States and just eat our way through America. Like,
Mhm.
how incredible would that be? Like, you know, just have a pizza in New York and have some chicken and waffles and have like, oh my gosh, I'm just getting hungry just thinking about it. I
Mhm.
need to stop.
Don't forget about
I'm
the
so like excited. And they have like,
southern food down here in Atlanta.
yes, there's hamburgers. Yes, there's food. There's like burgers and chips. And I love how everything in America can be deep fried. Why do you want to deep fry everything? I don't know, but I want to try it. It just seems very exciting. And I also want to go to like, obviously, not only like junk food, but also to like high-end places. There's so many nice restaurants and experiences. So I'm going to do foodcation, and trust me, it's going to be good. I'm probably going to weigh so much afterwards, but I do not care. I do not care at all.
It's all in the experience, right? You live once. Live
Correct.
once. Let's not regret
Yes.
it. Let's,
I love that.
yeah, enjoy the flavors of the world. So,
It's so good. I think you learn so much also through food because you experience different cultures and different ways of being through the food. And food, for me personally, I have a memory with food. It's weird, but like whenever I eat something, I can always remember where I was, what I was doing, and it's a little experience within itself. Um, I just love that. See, and here's the thing. I'm very adventurous, so I will go out and try everything. But again, my husband is very logical. So he has like 10 things that he likes to eat. And he has the saying where he's like, stick to what you know and you'll never be disappointed. And that's what he does. Whenever we go somewhere, he's like, I'm gonna have a steak because he's a steak man. And that's it. I mean, there's 20,000 things on the menu and the man will have a steak. I'm just like, thumbs up. Yeah, but it's fun. It's fun to do.
I'm sure you learn from each other.
Yeah, his logic is that no, his logic is this is that he's like, well, now that I always have the same thing, I can tell you where I've had the best steak. I can tell you where I've had the best pizza. I can tell you, which is also quite fair because I always try new things because I'm like, well, I want to see what it's like. But yeah, there's some logic to his madness. I like it.
Yeah, wonderful. So now let's talk about getting clients. Every business owner, every corporation, anybody in any type of business wants more clients. People in nonprofits, people at churches, we want more members. We want more people, jumping on to what it is we're doing and the service we're providing. So I know this is a huge topic, but why don't you start by saying, what are some of the basics of actually getting more clients or members or whatever it is you're trying to collect?
Yeah. I love that. And I know it's a broad topic, so I want us to take a super quick little step back and just remember why, pardon me, why we want those clients in the first place. I love to think as money as a tool. It's kind of a vehicle. Okay. People are like, oh, I need X amount of money, Y amount of money, or I need 10 clients, 20 clients, 15 clients. It's not so much about the number, right? But it's more about what they allow you to do, right? For me, they allow me to travel. They allow me to have these experiences with my husband and Charlie. They've allowed me to not have to return to my corporate job. They've allowed me to just, serve and show up more, to hire team members. It's what you do with that money, right? Or those clients that's truly important. And we spoke about this in the beginning of our chat about staying focused. How do we stay focused? Well, it's all about defining your why and staying true to it, even in business, right? So for example, you said if you're a church or if you're an organization that's looking for more members, why did you start? Why did you decide to serve and show up in that way, right? And by identifying that in the beginning and keeping that to be the truest form of why you're in business, it truly will resonate when you're trying to talk to people and bring them into your organization or bring them to buy from you. Also remember, every client is not for you, and that's okay. Often I see people get so fed up in the little details of, oh, I'm going to call, I have to sell them something. Well, you really don't. If you are really good at being a doctor, then why would you try and sell someone something like fixing something in their car. That's not what you do. You would never do that. You'd never try and be a mechanic or an engineer, or, try give legal advice. Why would you? You would never. So as a business owner or as an entrepreneur, why do we sometimes often think that, oh, we have someone there, I have to pitch them something. If they say website, I'll say I can do it. If they say graphic design, I'll say I can do it. No, you need to, I personally am a huge believer that you need to stay in your lane and do what you do and do it well, right? And how do I know this to be true? And how do I know that this is an effective strategy? Is because look at all the brands that have lasted the test of time. From brands like McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Chanel, like all these people, they do one thing and do one thing really well. I mean, Coca-Cola sells soft drinks. McDonald's sells burgers and fast food. Chanel sells clothes. You don't see those people mixing up. So as an entrepreneur, if you've decided, I'm going to be the person who owns a digital agency, which is what I do, I'm going to help people with their problems. If they're not good at graphic design, I have a team member that can help you with that. If they're not good at this, I have someone who can support you with that. But that is my little niche. If someone came to me today and said to me, Carol, can you help me write a book? I'm not going to pretend like I know how to, because I don't. I'm probably going to refer them. And that's a very powerful thing. When as an entrepreneur, you can step back and you can humble yourself and say, hey, that's not my forte, but here's somebody else. Not only will the client or the potential client remember you for that action, because they'll be like, oh, wow, they just turned down the sale. Wow, they really must know what they're doing within their niche. That's number one feeling. And number two, when they do come across someone who needs your service, guess what? You're going to be top of mind. Why? Because they remembered, oh, hey, that what Carol does is actually this. She runs a digital agency and she helps people to get clients. So it's always good, what you don't know, to refer to somebody else. And it's funny enough, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and now the name of the podcast is leaving me, but I'm going to try and remember, but I'll see if I can remember it. My brain is a little bit foggy today. But basically the premise of the conversation was this. Often from childhood, we've been programmed to think that asking for help is cheating and asking for help is wrong. And I found that principle to be, or that school of thought to be really, really fascinating, because often when clients come to us, or when, we don't know what to do with them, we don't ask for help. We just keep quiet and we say, yes, 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 yes. It's really okay to ask for help. It actually shows that you are a bigger person, because you're willing to humble yourself to say, I don't quite know everything on that. I'm not the expert, but I can help you find someone who is. I think that's like the short answer of a very big topic, though, Kimberly. How did I do?
Short answer is stay in your lane. Just stay in your lane.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, love that.
So yeah. So I know that we met because I was learning about this and how to set this up for myself. And I found it to be, I know a lot of people, they can do their own social media, but I found that it was
Yeah.
just way too much for me. So you have people that you actually coach and you show them step by step, and you were very you had every step down there. I mean, I'm like, wow, I can really follow this. This is easy to follow. I can do this. So I could follow it, but the time it took to actually go and do the posting and things was like too much for me and my schedule. So you also have a done for you type of service. So just talk about those two things, the coaching part and then the done for you service.
Sure. So we have a coaching program. As you mentioned, you were like part of it, and I'm still so grateful that you were with us. It was so good to have you there. And within the coaching, what we do, we've reworked it a little bit after getting some feedback, and now we offer 6 months of coaching, right? And it's a mastermind experience, and it's open all year round. Anyone can join at any time. That's the great thing about it. And what we do is we take you for the first 3 months through what we call the building blocks. So the building blocks will always stay the same. And that's more of making sure you have a really solid foundation in your business. It's going back to basics. It's checking, does your social media look right? Do you have a way for people to book calls with you? What are you going to focus on? It's getting very laser focused on that. It's also the stage within your business where we identify key things, like you mentioned now. Is this something that I want to do for myself, or should I be looking for help for someone to assist me to make this possible? So that's what we do in the first 3 months. And then within the next 3 months, what we do is we're calling it, for now, we're calling it the round table. And the reason we're calling it that is because every week we have different discussions. So whether our students are, struggling with, I remember when Clubhouse came out, everybody had 101 questions on it. Oh my gosh. Everybody's like, Clubhouse, 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 Clubhouse. And that's all people could talk about. So we were like, okay, we're going to teach this week about Clubhouse. So we did a whole presentation on it, how it works, the do's and don'ts. We even got a guest expert, someone who is really crushing it on Clubhouse, to come and speak to our students. And then we have a Q&A. So that's how our mastermind works. It's really nice. It's an application process to join it. And again, you can join any time of the year. And apart from that, we have a digital agency, which was our first baby. That's how we started. And within our digital agency, we offer a complete done-for-you experience. We can assist you with anything from building a landing page to running efficient Facebook, Instagram, and Google ads. We can help you to team up with the best kind of support team member. So we even have a group of team members that we have trained. We have taught them how to do SOPs, and we can say to you, if what you need is this, they probably already know how to do it. You don't have to go and manage them or teach them your ways. Nope, they're good. They know what they're doing, and they can very easily adapt to you. So that is our complete done for you solutions. And we can do anything from social media management to, like I mentioned, more comprehensive tasks like running Facebook and Instagram ads.
So what makes a great Facebook ad?
Oh, love this question. So, what doesn't make a great Facebook ad? A great Facebook ad. Oh my, right. I would say the key element that you'd really need for a good Facebook ad is something that stops the scroll. If we just talk about, for example, your phone and you go on Facebook, the kind of pattern that you see is ad, post from a group. Currently, I'll say currently for now, is ad, post from a group, maybe one friend, and then another ad. So there's a lot of competition within that timeline. There's always been a lot of competition within that timeline. So you must be able to stop that scroll, which takes about like 30 milliseconds. You need to have something there, whether it's an amazing graphic or a wonderful headline that sparks conversation, or it sparks curiosity, and then it makes them go, wait, what was that? And like go back to your ad and really digest it, right? One thing that I would love to mention here is that Facebook ads are not for everyone. Even though I love ads, right? I want to make it very clear that Facebook ads are not for everyone. And you may be thinking, Carol, how can you say that? No, I can't. And the reason I want to say that is because I see a lot of people think that Facebook ads are a quick fix. I'm going to throw $2,000 at this. I'm going to throw $50 at this, and I'm going to get all these magical clients are going to come, or I'm going to get all these magical results that are going to happen. And unfortunately, like everything in life, like going to the gym, the first day it's very difficult. You feel out of place. You don't know what's happening. You don't even know how to use the equipment. But by day 90, you're so familiar with every single piece of equipment that you're just getting in there and you just got started, right? I know, Kimberly, that you love CrossFit. I'm sure that's also probably how you felt. Day one, you were like, out of place. What's going on? This is ridiculous. I cannot do this. And by now, you're just like, yep, okay, let's go and do it. Same analogy applies to Facebook ads. When you begin, there's a huge testing period that needs to happen, because we have to test what is the right headline. Is your chosen audience going to respond to video? Are they going to respond to still images? Are they going to respond? Is this even the right audience? Because often we have clients who come to us and say, this is the kind of people I want to speak to. They're moms, they're single, they have this, and this problem. And we go and we look for those people, but we end up finding that married women who don't have children would love to buy their service too. So it's very interesting what you find as you're testing and as you're developing the campaign. You find that within the first, I would say even month and a half, it's more about gathering data and figuring out those pieces of the puzzle so that you are able to have an effective strategy, right? And ads can be a great way to scale. That's when I say people should actually use them, when they're ready to scale. When you have a tried and tested offer, something that you've sold at least 20 times, then I would say, well, now you've been able to sell it organically. Why not put a huge magnifying glass? Because that's what ads do. They just put a huge magnifying glass on your business. And it's like, here I am, come and finally find me. And yeah, that's when I would suggest go and try ads. I would also suggest that please give yourself time. Like I mentioned, don't just say I'm going to try them in February, and if they don't work in February, I'm giving up. No, it's a long-term strategy, and there's many things that we can build to really have an effective strategy there.
Exactly. Yeah. And as you mentioned CrossFit, and I do love CrossFit, it's something very addicting. But if anyone who knows about CrossFit knows we have our own words. There's little shortened letters and words for everything, AMRAP, as many rounds as possible. We have our own languaging. And when you first get there, you have no idea what people are talking about. What? AMRAP? What is that?
Like, do we eat that? It sounds delicious. AMRAP.
So, you have to learn what people's language are. What is your target market's language? What are they going to respond to? The
Correct.
moms who are single might respond differently to, grandmoms who are, married or are thinking about grandkids. Totally different languaging.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. So it's very important to be super clear on who it is we're targeting and for what. Some people could come to us and they just want to grow their email list, which is a key component, guys. If you're not growing your email list, please go and grow your email list today. That is one way to use ads to quickly grow your email list. The next thing could be to support a launch. So if you're launching anything, it's great because you can have reminder ads or reminder elements. I visited a sales page and now I'm going along my day. Oh, and I see an ad for that. So it's great to be used in that conjunction as well. They also make great for if you don't know if a product is going to be successful or not, but you have the budget to test for it. Like you have budget to say like, hey, can we run some ads to this and see if people would even buy it? If you don't want to wait the 3 to 6 months that it would take to test it organically and you have the budget for it, by just putting ads towards it, you can easily tell, is your ROI going to be sufficient with this new product or service that you're trying to launch? So again, always think about ads as a huge magnifying glass, putting a spotlight on your business. And when that spotlight is there, I hope you are ready because people will come and the leads will come in fast. So you must make sure you have a great support system and at least some great infrastructure, whether it be in the software you're using or the team members that you have to support that rapid growth that's going to happen.
Exactly. Yeah. I would be bad to have a lot of orders and no product to send out or not enough people to serve all those clients that you're getting. So, and
exactly.
How do we find those clients? I know when I was taking the course with you, the mastermind, you said, okay, so here's some different groups you can post in. And basically it was kind of posting in many groups just to figure out where you're going to get a nibble. It's like fishing. Am I going to get a nibble here? Am I going to get a nibble there? So how do people find those groups?
So I always like to say to people is you have to go where your ideal clients are, right? So if we stay with the mom analogy, moms usually like to hang out in other mom groups, right? Doctors probably hang out in doctors groups. If you have copywriters, they're all in one group. So you need to identify who your ideal client is, or better still, what problem are you going to solve for them? Because when you look at it that way as well, it may not be an occupation or a demographic specific kind of thing that you're looking for, but you're looking for people who have the same problem, right? And that can actually be very useful, especially when you're looking for it organically, right? So people who are looking to get more clients, well, that's quite a nice big group, because there can be a lot of categories in there, but where are these people hanging out, right? Next thing I would suggest is find a platform that works for you. Never put yourself on a platform that you do not feel comfortable on, that requires too much time from you, that you just feel uncomfortable being on. For example, I have never learned how to tweet. I have no idea how Twitter works. I do not care to learn how Twitter works. I understand the concept of it. People type 160 characters and it goes out and then another one replies. I understand the basic concept of it, but you will never find me tweeting because my ideal clients don't hang out there. And also, I don't personally quite enjoy it. I just don't see the logic behind it. If you are a person who enjoys voice and talking to people, then Clubhouse may be a great place to find people. You could set up rooms there, you can go and host your own events. If you enjoy being more social and you enjoy doing video and you enjoy doing graphics, then Facebook and Instagram, and I put them together because they actually go hand in hand, is where you should hang out. The nice thing about Facebook and Instagram, they're like brothers and sisters. What you post on the one, you can generally also recycle and post on the other one. But with the added benefit that Facebook has all these communities. And like we were teaching you as one of the strategies in our mastermind is to go and find these communities. And you can do many things in them. You can do market research and validate your offer and check if people would even buy it. You can go and promote your upcoming event, growing your group, growing your sales. You can use those groups for a variety of different things. Or you could just use them to build your know, like, and trust factor. Because here's the thing, when you are in those groups, you don't only need to promote. By you being in those groups, showing up, giving true, authentic value, and speaking on things that you know about. If someone has a question about, for example, Facebook ads, I'm not going to go say to them, hi, book a free consultation call and you need to pay me so much and I'll give you the answer. If the answer is so simple, by you just giving that little bit of confirmation, you've now told everybody in that group that you know what you're doing. Now, if it truly is really difficult, I'm not saying sit there and do a whole tutorial for them, right? I'm just saying offer some help, offer a tiny little bit of help if you can. And that in itself will reward you because people will see within that community, oh, she does know about ads. And oh, that was so helpful. I didn't know that Carol was the person to speak to her about that. I'm actually looking for someone for ads. So with something like this, you don't only want to promote yourself. You want to establish yourself as a key person within your industry who knows what they're doing within that group so that you stay top of mind. And when people think, I am looking to hire X, they need to think of you.
Beautiful. So if people did want to work with you, how do they find you? How do they get a hold of you?
Well, if you want to work with us, firstly, I want to say thank you so much. I would appreciate working with you too. That would be so much fun. And the easiest way to find us is we have an amazing Facebook group that we are truly in every single day. It has over 6,000 people, maybe more by the time you're listening or watching to this. And it's really where we hang out all day. Our group is called Future Business Empire. And you will see that it's run by myself and my beautiful business partner, Ayo. And that's kind of where we hang out most of the time. We hang out in our business group, which is called Future Business Empire. If someone wanted to reach out personally because they wanted to chat with me, my name is Carol Kabaale, and you can find me on Facebook and on Instagram. And you can also, if you really wanted to, go check out our website, which is just acempire.co. There's no M, it's just CO at the end. So that's Carol. So that's A for AO and C for Carol, and then Empire. So yeah, that's where we're at. But we are very super approachable people. If you ever have a question or you just want to stop by and be like, hey, I would listen to this podcast with you and Kimberly, it was great, I would love that too. That would actually be so amazing.
Right. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast today and for sharing your experiences and your knowledge. I just so appreciate you.
I
So
appreciate you too. Thank you so much for having me here. It has been truly such a pleasure, Kimberly. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for the work you're doing, and thank you for creating this space to allow people like myself just to share a little bit of our journey with the world. I truly appreciate it.
yeah, so I have one last question before we finish. What is your
Mm.
best advice on living an incredible, amazing life?
What a nice question. What is my best advice? Oh, for living an amazing life. Oh, an incredible life. I would have to say, probably stay true to yourself. And it may sound a little bit cliche, but truly stay true to yourself and stay true to your values and to the beliefs that you hold true, whether it be in your business or whether it be in your personal life. My husband always says this to me, and it's something that we learned actually at marriage counseling before we got married. So pre-marriage counseling is, if you can go to sleep at night and you're happy with all the decisions you've made, you'll be fine. But if you go to bed and you put your head on that pillow and you're just like, mm, there's a bit of an issue there. You either need to, if you still can within your day, try to make amends or see how you can rectify it or help it. Because unfortunately, no one can tell you when your time to leave this wonderful experience that we call life will be. It may be today, it may be tomorrow, and it may be the next day. So using every single 24 hours, and that's the beauty of it, all of us get the same amount of time to do the most incredible things. So using that 24 hours to its fullest potential is just, it's just wonderful. And having no regrets that, you know, you said a terrible thing or you treated someone bad or you allowed someone, worst of all, to treat you bad and make you feel less than. That's also very important, you know. So yeah, that's what I would say. Stay true to yourself, and it'll work out.
All right. Well, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Carol. And we'll talk to you
Thank you.
again.